Hello, welcome to the forecast for December 16th to the 22nd. My name is Desiree Deslunay, your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer. We're going to dive into the week that is ahead of us that is filled with activations, with healings, and guess what? Mercury is going direct starting Monday the 16th. So we're going to start the week with our thinking in a little better space, better communication, better plans coming together more easily, not too many hiccups. I've had a few of those this past week. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. Please make sure to subscribe, and hit that bell so you're notified every time a new video is up weekly. And please do share with someone else who may benefit from this information. Okay, I am almost there to make this big. Let's get going. All right, so we're going to start off with our sun in Sagittarius, and we just have our last few days this week. The sun will be transitioning into a new season, into Capricorn, in a matter of days, but we still have that Sagittarius energy that is very optimistic and very exuberant and enthusiastic and very hopeful and dreamy and loves to just feel inspired and move with that inspiration. It's adventurous. And guess what? Mercury is sharing this sign with the sun. And Mercury today on Monday, a lot of the stuff I'm talking about Monday, by the way, applies for the rest of the week, except for the moon because the moon moves fast. But Mercury is direct. We are officially out of retrograde season. I hope that plans become smoother now. I've had so many hiccups of rearranging things within my schedule because this didn't work out and this got canceled and all of that. So no more of that, please, especially as we're going to be moving into possible holiday travel. I wouldn't want to be doing that during Mercury retrograde either. So the style of our thinking as Mercury affects our mind is a bit more optimistic. It's more positive and it is feeling hopeful. Do you feel a little bit more hope? Do you feel possibility? Are you looking forward to the new year next year? Are you starting to feel like, you know what, it's going to be different? I know every year we kind of think that, but that's why we have Sagittarius season here. It gets us geared up and ready and prepped and making sure that we are viewing our future plans with the lens of possibility, that it can definitely happen for us. There's a lot of faith that rises, hope and faith and trust that can come from our sun and Mercury sitting here in the sign of Sagittarius. So very nice. Besides that, we need to take a look at our moon. Our moon is sitting here in the sign of Cancer, which is a water sign. And this makes us actually even more emotional and more touchy-feely, more connected to our feelings, and also very nurturing in nature. So between where the sun and Mercury is and where moon is, there is just the sensation of hope and possibility, I feel is just expanded and greater. And this may also make us want to kind of hunker down too. Moon in Cancer likes to kind of nest in the house and find their safe spaces, find their cozy nooks and crannies. So if you're wanting to just cozy up at home a little more with your family or with your close friends, that would make sense. That will be very comforting to the moon. So let's take a look at some of these aspects too. We do have Sun square Neptune. Now this can bring a little bit of confusion and uncertainty. So Neptune brings that cloudedness, that nebulousness. So just keep that in mind, that you may feel not exactly crystal clear about what it is, but you feel hopeful about the future, but you're not exactly certain what it's about. There's a lot of tug and push and pull and tug of war, internal tug of war that's going on throughout this week. There's a lot of oppositions going on and squares. So if you internally feel a little bit confused too, that is also to be expected. This is not going to be sticking around forever, so don't worry too much. Now, with the moon in Cancer and this sun squaring Neptune, this could mean you're a bit more sensitive to your environment, and one thing with Neptune is that it tends to dissolve the boundaries between the environment and ourselves. So there could be a bit more absorption of what is surrounding us. So hence the moon probably is going to encourage you more to go and settle in those really safe places and spaces so that you're not absorbing anything that you don't want to and that's not healthy for you. So that'll be around for just a bit. We do have Moon trine Saturn. That's a really nice conversation here. And this is going to bring emotional stability and resilience and strength and loyalty for sure. Really like being supportive towards your family and your friends or anyone important to you. You're gonna feel like that reliable source of comfort and wisdom and guidance. That's the thing with Saturn, is that Saturn provides a lot of wisdom and experience too. And so you probably are going to be like that pillar of strength for the people around you too. So keep an eye out for that. It also may create a desire to attend to things that we need to just be responsible for. Saturn represents our responsibilities and discipline and structure. And so taking care of things around the home that need to be taken care of, essentially, because the moon represents the home, is where your emotions will probably go towards. We also have Mercury in trine with Mars. So I love this combination. With Mercury trine Mars, this means our thinking. I mean, it's already in a fire sign in Sagittarius, so it's very inspired, it's motivated, it's excited. But then you have Mars adding, it is in retrograde, okay? So it is a little bit more internal. But with Mars in trine, this is going to increase our like mental agility. It is going to bring about like quick wit. It increases just our mental capacity and our ability to process and digest a lot of information. There's so much exploration that is happening within us, inside of us, internal exploration. Think of it that way, not just outside, not just traveling everywhere, but you're traveling in your inner workings, in your inner depths, and learning about yourself right now. Let us know if you've been finding out more about you, or things are just coming to your conscious awareness that you didn't really think about or consider before. So this is going to really expand our thinking and our processing powers and our digestion. And so we'll be able to sort and sift through a lot of information. But this also brings like this very motivational type of spirit. Okay, Mars is ambition and it's drive. And same thing with Sagittarius, it's also very inspired. So all of this together, you're going to be in a better internal mindset. You're going to be in a very like, oh, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to ensure that this happens. Whether we act, a lot of us aren't going to be acting on a bunch of things right now. It's not the season to do that. Like I said, it's more of an internal exploration season. And however, we're going to go through all the different scenarios, all the different possibilities. Oh, if I go in this direction, this could possibly develop. So you're going to bring a lot of excitement there. You're going to bring a lot of just, wow, this is going to be so thrilling when we start to launch and initiate. So because Mars is in retrograde, right? So we're going to have to reflect on what those ambitions, goals, and desires are before and evaluate them, okay? And do our research and do our homework essentially before we just dive right in and start implementing and enacting these things that we have been, thinking about and going through. Okay, so another one we have is Venus trine Jupiter. So we've got Jupiter down here in Gemini, and that is in a nice conversation. So this brings a lot of joy and happiness in our relationships. People matter right now. People are important right now. And having these look, Venus is in an air sign and Jupiter is in an air sign. So when we see all this air activity, this means a lot of conversations, a lot of dialogues, a lot of exploring of ideas and being stimulated intellectually in our relationships. There's going to be a huge need for that. You're probably going to want to be around people that expand your mind. You're going to want to be, you're going to crave to probably be around different kinds of people too, because Aquarius is very eccentric and rebellious and out of the box in nature. So you may be seeking relationships where people are not just following the mainstream, conventional ways, but really just stand out. And there's something different and unique and genuine about them. And so those are the types of friendships and people that you want to interact with and that you want to listen to. So this may widen essentially your circle of friends. Okay, I'm definitely going through that myself personally. Let me know if you are too, but there is a desire to really widen and expand, because that's another thing what Jupiter does. It expands whatever it touches. So this is expanding our friend circles to incorporate people that we normally would not. All right. So we do have this Mars-Pluto still in opposition here. And, I talked about this is quite a volatile arrangement. And we also have Mars in retrograde too. Now, I will say though, as contentious as this can be, it can also be a catalyst for growth. It's a catalyst to really deep dive into the depths of our desires, as that's what Mars represents, is our desires and our ambitions. Okay, it's not just our needs. I mean, we're talking wants. What do you really want? What do I really want? And seeing what a transformational experience that is to welcome in your wants. Sometimes we demonize wants and think that they're not as important as needs, but clearly there's a place for wants and desires in our lives too. And so we're going to experience transformational healing from Pluto by serving and addressing our wants and desires. So that is a reminder, like that it's important. You can have dreams, desires, and goals that aren't necessarily productive, but I think in the end it is, but maybe not productive to society's standards, but yet it is the exact thing that you need to embrace in order to experience the healing that is awaiting for you. So that's a little like positive spin and positive take on this Mars-Pluto opposition. This is around until January 17th. So I will be coming back around and referencing it here and there throughout the future forecasts as well, just to remind you. All right, another last one we're going to talk about for Monday, and this also sticks around for the rest of the week, as well as all the way into January 22nd, all right? And that is Jupiter, that is in square with Saturn, okay? This is a longer transit. Saturn and Jupiter aren't like whizzing around the zodiac so fast, so that's why this square hangs around. Their placements are a little bit more stationary. I mean, they're not stationary, but they go a lot slower. So hence these aspects stretch out for longer times. And with this, there's a tension between growth and discipline, okay? And growth happening because of the discipline. I will say there is a call for structure and order and discipline in our lives. We're going to see a T-square later in the week, and that's going to really point towards, wow, we really need to start structuring our lives more, especially as the free-spirited empath over here, and I'm sure you are too. It is very important. There is a call in order to get through these times. We need to enact some sort of structure. And that's what's actually going to catapult and strengthen, okay, that growth that is happening inside of us. Another thing here is like Jupiter is very dreamy. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, right? So it's very idealistic. It's very dreamy, a little bit fantastical, and maybe a little wishful thinking too. And then Saturn is very practical and realistic, and we need to, we need to make sure that it's possible too. And so it's a nice like mixture. It's tense here, but we can't get too carried away in the fantastical realms. And that's what I appreciate about Saturn, as much as it kind of sucks to get your bubble burst. but still, it's like, hey, you don't want to waste your time on something that's not going to work, right? And so Saturn is here not just to burst your bubble, but also to make sure that some of your dreams do come true. And we need to go about it in a way that is doable, that we can implement, and that we can actually get there. So think of it as just like tough love. That's how I like to look at Saturn, is it's the planet of tough love. All right, very good. But it is this serves as a really great opportunity for real growth and expansion, even though it's a little bit rough and tumble there. So that is our Monday. Let's continue on to the next day, which is Tuesday, the 17th. Our moon is still sitting here in Cancer, so feeling that empathy, that in higher intuition as well. It's very sensitive. Okay, moon in Cancer, it's in its home sign, but it's very sensitive. It's very moody, and if it doesn't like the environment, it will retreat and will withdraw into its safe little shell, retreat back into home. So if you feel yourself also kind of just, like I said, cozying up in your home a bit more, that's going to be great. That's going to be great for the moon. That's a good time to do it, is when moon is in Cancer. Honor the moon. Taking a bath too will be really nice if you feel a little bit out of sorts, since it is in a water sign. And I like the bath idea for a Cancer moon. Now, first things first, we've got moon that is sextile with Uranus right here. This can bring actually a lot of creativity and heightened intuition, but like lightning strike kind of intuition, like come out of nowhere and have a powerful revelation type of intuition. This can also make you want to crave some like excitement, adventure, something new, something super different, some kind of novelty too. Okay, so there's that one. We also have another beautiful conversation between Moon and Neptune. I love this one. I actually have this one right in my chart too, which is a Moon trine Neptune. This brings a lot of harmonious relationship between like your intuition and your imagination and your creativity. Talk about heightened intuition. We not only have Uranus sextile to the moon, but also Neptune. You are going to see into things, hear, feel, read into things that maybe before you didn't quite have access to. So very beautiful for any kind of artistic work or intuitive healing work. Oh, and then moon's in a water sign, which it's in a sign where moon is like in its home sign. It's in the best location. It has everything it needs to have that crystal clear, sharp senses, sharp intuition. If you, like I said, are an artist or creative, there's such a huge correlation between intuition and creativity. So your creative juices will also be really expanded here. Now, we do have moon in opposition with Pluto. Now, moon opposite Pluto will intensify whatever you're feeling. So if you're feeling inspired, it's going to only intensify that. If you're feeling creative, again, it's going to intensify that too. It's kind of like Jupiter, but rather than it being more like an expansive opening intensification, it's more like turning up the volume of whatever you're going through. So if you are feeling frustrated, okay, or overwhelmed, that could heighten as well. But I don't see that happening. I think there's so many beautiful trines and sextiles to the moon that I think that this sensitivity will lead into more of a transformational healing experience. When we talk about Pluto, this is where deep transformation happens. This is when true healing happens. This is when emotional and energetic healing happens. So I feel like where the moon is at and talking to Uranus and Neptune, we're going to be able to have a lot more self-awareness, and we're going to emerge out of this day, out of this configuration in a way where we are going to kind of come out on the other side of something. Yeah. So let us know how this moon opposite Pluto interacts with you. Because, of course, we all have our own individual charts, and it touches different parts of our charts where the moon and Pluto are. So it'll be interesting to know. Let me know actually below, like, what house is your moon in and what house is Pluto in. And that's going to be an interesting dynamic there. Okay, so that's moon opposite Pluto. Let's go on to Wednesday. Wednesday, we have our moon that has moved, and it is now in the sign of Leo. Okay, and not only that, look at it is conjunct Mars. It is next door to Mars. They are together. They are infused. So let's first talk about Moon in Leo. Moon in Leo is very exuberant too. It's a fire sign. It's very expressive. It can be a bit dramatic, but all the emotions are out. It's kind of like you wear your emotions on your sleeve. That is very Moon in Leo. It can't hide anything. You're going to see it all over their face and all over their body. And same for you. Everything is going to be revealed out onto the surface. So people will know what you're really feeling and what you're thinking. They're not going to be like, I'm not sure. They will see it, they will know it, and they will feel it. It really is playful too. The Leo energy is very playful, it's very generous, it's warm-hearted, it's friendly. So if you're feeling, a little bit, nicer towards humanity, and maybe because Moon is in Leo, there's more joy. There's a lot more joy here available to us. I mean, fire rules Leo. So it's within a fire sign. I'm sorry, the sun rules Leo. That's what I meant. The sun rules Leo. So think about the sun. It's very warm. It's very bright. It's very activating. And not only that, we got Mars next to it. And with Mars next to it, it can do a few things. One, it can make you a bit more frustrated because Mars is in retrograde too. So there could be more frustration and irritability, and also just more anger and more upsets, probably triggered easily too. It's kind of like you're right on the surface. All of your emotions are right on the surface, and the slightest thing could set you off into a rage. So that is possible. Another expression that could happen, and you could have both of these in one day, right, is there's a lot more ambition, and there's more motivation, and there's drive to get stuff done or do things. So if you feel restless or just a lot of energy that is circulating and pumping through you, it's because of, one, Moon is in a fire sign, and it's next to a fiery planet. So it's kind of a double dose of the fire element that our emotional body is being exposed to. Now, with this kind of setup, like I say, with fire signs and the moon, get some activity, do some physical activity, sweat a little bit, okay? Or just do things around the house. If you don't go to a gym, for example, and the weather doesn't permit you to go outside, just get physical around the house. Maybe work on some projects that are more physical oriented, clear some clutter. We're going to be talking about that in a sec, actually, especially when Moon goes into Virgo. But just in general, sweat, get physically active. And if you have any kind of heat packs at home, or the sauna, or red light therapy, something like that, where you are introducing yourself to more heat and allowing yourself to sweat a bit, that's going to be very helpful for this, because, not only do we have this Mars opposite Pluto situation, Moon is still opposite Pluto, and it's next to Mars. So it's just explosive energies all around that the moon is being bathed in on this day. So there's that to start with. We do still have that moon trine Mercury. I love that. It's your ability to, and it's also trining Mars, but your ability to clearly express your feelings will be there. And this also makes your mind quick, you're going to be very sharp and fast in the way that you think, in the way that you speak, in the way that you process things. It is also very it helps you to express yourself very clearly. Okay, you'll be able to access the right words to describe what you are going through internally. This can also stimulate a lot of creative expression, whether it's in the form of writing or speaking, because look, Mercury is trining both of these. So writing and speaking is associated with Mercury. So if you do those things, like if you write and speak, these planets are definitely on your side for that, but it does help with creativity in all forms of art. I would say that writing and speaking are probably one of the major ones that's going to be, you'll notice it there. Okay. All right. Now we have Moon opposite Venus. That could bring some tension with some of our relationships or our partners. A little bit of like, oh, I want you, I don't want you. It's a little push and pull kind of experience between ourselves and the people in our lives. So bring some sensitivity in relationships, possibly some conflicts and arguments, especially the fact that we've got Moon next to Mars. I think there could be a risk for misunderstandings and disagreements, and some arguments there is definitely possible. Okay, now we do have Mercury opposite Jupiter again. You know, Mercury was in retrograde, so it kind of was away from this opposition to Jupiter for a bit, but now it's back. Mercury is back in direct. We're going to be feeling Mercury because it stations direct here on Monday, so Mercury is going to be very prominent. When a planet slows down like that, you're going to feel it more than normal. But we have this, like I was saying, in opposition to Jupiter. And Mercury is the fine details, and Jupiter is the big picture view. And so there is this internal fight. Again, we see this constant like internal fight that's going on of opposites of, okay, I want to just like jump on the big grand idea, and Mercury's like, hey, there's a lot of details that you have to consider to make that big grand idea happen. And so there is a fight between, I just want to like feel it and trust and believe and all of that. And then Mercury's like, you need to sort through all of the details and the information. You need to read the fine print before you commit to anything. You can't just commit based upon a feeling. Okay. So I'm not saying one is right or wrong. It's not about that, because look, all these energies are valid in our lives. It's about timing of them. And that is why I have been saying over and over again that this is not the time to be super like leaping into stuff and starting into stuff. This is the time to go through it. Go look at all of the options, dream this and dream that. Have 18 dreams if you want. That's fine. Let's now then navigate each of those dreams and see what it looks like if we were to carry it out next year. So that there's the mind might be like, we could do this and we could do that and we could do that. If we do that, we could do that. So you're going through the big picture and all the details and another big picture and all the details, and just going back and forth between that like mode of thinking and those perspectives. And so that's just really like ping-ponging inside of you over and over and over again. So that again is normal right now. We're just sorting through things internally. That's probably the best way to say it, is we're sorting through it. Okay, so that Mercury opposite Jupiter is going on until December 30th. That's until December 30th. And so that will help us get closer and closer to where we want to be. Just overall, it's going to be challenging to focus on details too. And that's the thing, like Jupiter is going to take our mind and make it big, and Mercury's trying to make it small. And small because, you know, details matter. But it's really going to make it a bit challenging to focus and to concentrate. So if you feel a bit more mentally scattered, it's because of this situation. All right. So please do not, don't get too attached and overly attached to the frustration of this kind of internal experience because it will pass. It will pass. It serves a purpose. It's really just to explore our perspectives, to explore our beliefs, explore our view about something, and navigate, what this dream would feel like and look like, and develop, and what it would entail. What does it mean, and then explore the other one, and what does that mean in our lives? How does that unfold? So please be patient with yourself is my main message. Be patient with all of this information that is just like exploding inside of you. It's so great to be excited and looking forward to the future if that's how you feel. I know I feel that way for sure. Okay. So let's continue on to Thursday. So yeah, Wednesday's a lot. Wednesday's a lot. So let's continue on Thursday. So Thursday, our moon is still in Leo, and it is trining, it's trining the sun. Yep, right here. So it's got a trine to the sun. So that's really nice. At least we get some inner peace, inner harmony, feeling at one with ourselves, feeling confident with ourselves, communication with people in our lives are just going to be more flowy and easy. So I like this harmonious energy we got there. We do have it also in square to Uranus, and that will bring a strong need for independence and not feeling restricted. So freedom's just going to be also, especially with Moon in Leo and with Mars in the same sign, like the need for independence and freedom is going to be quite present for you and at top of mind for you. So keep that also in mind, that you need freedom of movement, freedom of thinking, okay, freedom of mind, freedom of exploration. A lot of freedom is really important with all this Sagittarius energy and Leo energy, and the fact that the moon is in square with Uranus. That independence is important. Okay, so that's just Thursday, not too much, all right? Friday, we do have a major change in the moon. The moon goes into Virgo. Sorry, I need a little sip there. So we went from the moon, which is our mood and our feelings, okay, moving from a fire sign, and now we are into this practical, analytical, Mercury ruled earth sign. So this sign likes order. It does not like chaos. It does not like clutter. So you may feel this need to start ordering things. If your laundry is not put away and it's just piled up somewhere, your moon's going to want to put it away. Have you ever noticed, like, sometimes you'll have days where, like, oh, it's fine, I can't deal with it, I can't handle it, I don't have the capacity to fold my laundry. It's all clean, but I just don't want to put it away, right? And then another day comes on and you're like, dang, I need to do it like now, immediately. This is unacceptable. This is driving me bonkers. And that's why it's so powerful to follow the moon, because the moon does things like that. Like all of a sudden, like our need to do something or change something, it just flips a switch. And so you'll probably notice something like that happening with moon transitioning into Virgo. There's a lot of attention to detail, okay? A lot of attention to detail, even though moon is in square with Mercury. But it wants to ensure that we are very thorough. So that whole like energy of being thorough and detailed and organized is really going to come through. Also, caring for one's body and one's health and well-being, that's such a strong Virgo thing. So you may all of a sudden be like, hey, maybe I need to drink more water today. I feel like I really need to take it easy and give my body a break and give my body more nourishing foods and drink now. So that may come about with moon here in Virgo. We do have Mercury square Saturn too. And Saturn is about structure, okay, and order too. And one thing with this, it's affecting the way that we think. Okay, we may want to organize our thoughts a little bit more. Maybe instead of things just swirling around in our head, this will make you want to like create a to-do list and start getting out of your head and putting it down on paper, since Saturn is more of a physical planet. It's dealing with physical reality. One thing we need to be cautious of about at this time, Moon in Virgo is very critical and very judgmental. I'm a Virgo rising. I know this well. So it picks out what's wrong all the time. Always what is wrong, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be corrected. Not just to be like, I've used to be called Desi Downer. That was one of my nicknames from my ex-husband. So, but not because I just want to be mean or like be a party pooper, but it's more like, hey, we need to make this better. We need to make the house better. That's important. Like we need to improve things, and that's why it's Virgo energy cares for progress and improvement and perfection, which then means it comes with, especially also with Saturn in square with Mercury, we have a double dose here of being very self-critical, being very harsh on ourselves and judging ourselves and saying, oh my gosh, like just focusing heavily on what's wrong and only focusing there, right? Rather than, okay, this is what's wrong so that we can make it better. We want to make it better, right? So rather than focusing on the solution, right, and the end goal, there's like this hyper fixation of this is bad and this is wrong and there's something wrong with me. So self-criticism, being very judgmental towards the self, may be more pronounced and heightened here on Friday, considering the square that we have from Saturn to Mercury. However, at the same time though, okay, look, it's going to stimulate between the Mercury, Saturn, and Moon, all this stuff, it's going to stimulate work too, like hard work, resilience, commitment, discipline. So that may also be birthed from all of that I just spoke about. Okay. So I do want to mention a T-square that we've got going. We have a T-square between Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. And remember, I talked about the fine details of Mercury and the big picture, hopeful dreaminess of Jupiter, right? And that fight between the two, the tension between the two. So there's that opposition, but then both of these are squaring, okay, Mercury is squaring Saturn and Jupiter is squaring Saturn. I know there's a bunch of lines here, but if you can just trace from Mercury to Jupiter to Saturn, you will see a red triangle in between them, and that's called a T-square. So you have to consider the opposites, but to deal with the tension of these opposites here, you have to go to the apex of this triangle, and the apex of this triangle is Saturn. So how do we handle with this opposition, right? How do we improve and progress and grow through all of this stuff we're going through internally? Is we need order, structure, commitment, and discipline. That's what's being called. Start to get better at planning your days. Or, okay, with all this mind stuff, start writing things down. Maybe have a regular writing routine, or meaning a journaling routine, where you are going through all the big ideas and the details and just get it out and bring it into this material plane. It doesn't mean you're going to manifest it all. It's just maybe ordering all of the thoughts. That's what Saturn is wanting you to do, is order the ideas, order the details, order the thoughts somewhere. And that is going to help you to move through it very effectively, move through it efficiently. That makes sense? So please let me know below. What do you feel? How do you feel you need to structure something? Maybe it's even, look, Saturn is in Pisces, so it could be a structuring of meditation. Maybe it's meditation, because Pisces, there's a huge association with like spirituality and meditation. Maybe there's a call in your life to do meditation on a regular basis. Maybe it's just 5 minutes a day, okay? It does not have to be something ginormous, but you're being called as meditation, doing that on a regular basis, or journaling on a regular basis, some sort of spiritual practice on a regular basis will really help you with this Mercury-Jupiter opposition, especially the fact that it's going to be around until December 30th, okay? And this is part of your planning process. I consider part of your planning process before 2025 starts, before the new year begins. Okay? All right. So that's our Friday. I feel like I am speaking a lot. I don't mean to be lecturing so much, but let's finish up our weekend. We've got Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is a big day. It transitions, the sun transitions to Capricorn. So now we're in a new season, all right? A new 30-day cycle. It's going to be more earth energy. We have our moon already in an earth sign, and now we also have our sun in an earth sign. What is Capricorn about? It's about discipline. It's about hard work. It's about structure. It's about order as well. So earth energy is very grounded. We are taking all these ideas and all these thoughts and all these feelings that we've got, and we need to organize them. And this is long-term planning. There's a reason why we kind of like at the end of the year, it's more yin, it's more inwards. The season is winter. It's time to reflect. It's reflection, internal reflection to, start to see like what worked this past year and what didn't work this year. And is this something we want to continue on into the next year? So long-term planning is a huge aspect of Capricorn energy, the legacy that we leave behind, what is contributing to our legacy. So those kinds of those topics will be more at top of mind, at the center of your heart as well. So we also have moon that is in square to Jupiter. Now, this can bring also some emotional extremes, because remember, Jupiter, whatever it touches, it tends to expand. So if you're like really wanting to order your life and clearing clutter, that's probably going to just be very intense, also intensely happening in your life too. One of the things we have to be careful of, because Virgo loves to serve others. It likes to fix problems. It likes to serve others, take care of others. It's a very nurturing sign. Yeah, it's critical, but it's also very nurturing. It's that, critical mom energy sometimes. So here's the thing with Jupiter, in this square, this can make the moon in Virgo really take care of others so much at the expense of one's own self-care. So don't neglect your own needs. That's just the reminder here. Don't neglect your own needs. This can also, cause a little struggle with boundaries with the people that we live with, the home life, like basically giving and serving, and then you're tapped out by the end of the day. And so kind of the classic mom take care of the whole family, and mom, never even like got dressed or did her hair that day. So that kind of thing. So just remember to also choose yourself and prioritize yourself when we have this square energy happening. We do have moon opposite Saturn too, and so that's also going to add this heavy sense of like responsibility, the weight of responsibility, the weight of taking care of everybody else, you're going to feel a lot of. So, like little things, I'm just going to give you some little examples of moon in Virgo. For me, my nightstand area can get a little out of hand after a few days. Like I've got books everywhere. I've got all my teas and my drinks. And then I have, this robe there, and I've got some other clothes there. And then it just like piles up. And then I get to a breaking point. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so like this would be moon in Virgo, like, what? I need to take care of my space. Like I deserve to have a nice, beautiful, relaxing, restful space. And then I go in power, and then just everything is pristine. I have the flowers on the nightstand, and that is such a Virgo, like self-care, personal healing type of act. I know it's super small, but that's just a practical example of how it shows up in my life. Okay, so moon trine Uranus, that's going to bring some excitement, adventure, and fun. Thankfully, we have some of that going on. I appreciate that. And it's also creative expression and intuitive insight. Uranus is lightning strike. Okay, just remember that. Uranus is a lightning strike kind of a thing. So this will give you probably a lot of mental clarity too, and emotional clarity with this Uranus in trine. So last one is Sunday. And on Sunday, we have moon still in Virgo. It is square the sun, so this can cause a little bit of tension in relationships. My apologies. I think I had Okay, sorry. I had a phone call and just messed things up. So moon square the moon. Yeah. So this can cause a little bit of difficulties in relationships, some misunderstandings, but it can also stimulate some personal growth too. We still have the moon trine Uranus. We had it from yesterday. But then we also have moon trine Pluto. And this will bring about emotional intensity. However, a lot of healing. And that's what I love about Pluto, and we're dealing with trines and sextiles. It will give us a lot of self-awareness. It will give us conscientiousness into our feelings and help us to sit with our feelings more, because it's very easy to ignore and run away from them. But in this kind of scenario, you just can't. It's time to deal with it, and it's time to face it. And when it's in a trine, I'm not saying it's completely easy, but it is definitely doable. It's more manageable. So think of like just having some personal transformative experiences here. And plus it's in trine with Uranus. So it's a beautiful conversation that the moon is having with some powerful outer planets of the Pluto and Uranus. So that is our week. Thank you so much for hanging in with me for our forecast. And if you are looking for how to move through the days with really great tools and techniques, I have a membership community. It is called Rise and Thrive. I will link it down below so that you can receive all the information you need. I have workshops, meditations, blends that I give out every single month that is attuned to our community, as well as what's going on cosmologically, and helping the everyday empath live in the real world. That is my role here on this earth. If you want a deeper insight into your natal chart and understanding your baseline energies and how you function, how your energy body and how your emotional body functions, then I highly recommend a cosmic clarity consultation, and I will put that down below as well. Thank you so much. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next forecast.